Sa puntong ito, makakausap natin si Dr. Randy Deliosa. Sa po ay isang psychiatrist at clinical psychologist. Magandang hapon, Dr. Randy.
Good morning, good afternoon, Nina. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Doc, for coming on the show kahit Zoom. Alam namin maulan sa labas, pero talagang kailangan naming ma-process kahit tayo na wala doon sa lugar. Matinding shock at takot ang dala ng nangyari dyan sa Ateneo de Zamboanga. Paano po dapat i-process ito muna ng publiko at ng mga estudyante ang ganitong biglaang trauma?
Okay, so unang-una, yung comment ko ay, we have to stop making simplistic attributions kung bakit nangyari ang ganito. Because some of the attributions we say are almost laughable. Okay? Like kung sabihin natin, nangyari ito dahil sa stress, pressure. Lahat naman ng estudyante nakakaranas ng stress and pressure. Di ba? Or something else. So it's very important that we postpone, giving attributions or causes. Kasi, I always say this, wala naman talagang isang cause, ang daming causes. Okay? Kung basehan natin ang research, there are indicators kung saan galing ito. So number one, usually may grievance yung bata. Okay? May galit. Puot na tinatago. Pangalawa, access to weapons is another factor. Number three, exposure to past shooting incidents in school. Tapos siguro, na-fascinate siya. And lastly, yung merong leakage, ibig sabihin, nagsabi na siya sa ibang tao, pero walang pumansin. Tuloy, hindi na-report. These are better, multifactorial causes or correlations to what happened.
You're right, and yun nga, mahirap maging simplistic about it na meron pang nagsasabi dahil naglalaro ng video game, kaya niya to nagawa. Marami naman naglalaro rin ng video game. For example, Roblox, di ba? At may iba, kanina narinig natin yung report na dahil raw sa pressure sa eskwelahan. Marami rin namang nape-pressure sa eskwelahan. At yung grievance, isa yon sa mga tinitingnan na sinasabing may grievance siya or masama ang loob or galit ba sa teacher. Perhaps nagbigay sa kanya ng mas mababang grado at hindi siya sanay doon, di ba? Itong mga iba't ibang factors po na ito, siguro contributes to what? Can you give us a context on how something like this can happen?
Well, Nina, I also want to say kasi, if we just give simplistic attributions, then everyone can do the same thing. And then it will be easier to excuse them. So the next time we'll hear, ay, nabully, ay, may mental health issue, na-depress, kaya siya nag-shoot. And then it becomes acceptable? No, it's not like that. In fact, what this guy did is abnormal. Okay, it is out of the ordinary. In fact, totally unordinary. Okay, so how do we process it? One thing is that we have to stop people somehow from reposting the videos. Okay, that's one. Because every time, because yung video na yan is like a trophy It's like a trophy for the shooter. And then, it was live streamed. Ang ibig sabihin nito, it implies that there is a following. Meron siyang following. And imagine, this guy becomes a sort of hero or martyr. Kasi after doing something that they couldn't do, he unalives himself. And that's a terrible thing. As much as possible, we don't repost the videos. Pangalawa, we stop talking about this guy, okay, to prevent making him a hero or a martyr, an idol. And then we focus on the victims and how to fix things. And especially how to prevent. I think that's the better focus.
Opo. But also we heard the mayor, I think, say that he's also a victim, the shooter. And can you explain, Doc, yung sinasabi niyo, why is he being idolized? Why is he a hero? Kasi for a lot of us, what? Hindi namin makomprehend yung ganong klase ng pagtingin sa isang ganitong shooter.
He's not a hero for us, definitely. He can never be a hero, but he will be a hero for people who already are potential perpetrators.
Yes.
Okay? Because this guy might come from a community wherein this is a dream for them to do. For instance, merong lumalabas na reports on social media about TCC, true crimes something. Okay?
Ano
And
po yun? Doc, what is that?
it's like a syndicate, a group
Okay.
that grooms people. It grooms kids, vulnerable kids, to do violent things. Oh, so this guy is an idol or martyr for them.
Okay, yun yung sinasabi nga ninyo noon pa. I think it has something to do, correct me if I'm wrong, with NVE. You talked about NVE, how do you pronounce it? Nihilistic, violent extremism, Dr. Diosa.
Yes, NVE is nihilistic, violent extremism, and we understand very quickly or very easily violence and extremism. But there's this component called nihilism. And ang nihilism, ang ibig sabihin, parang wala na silang meaning sa buhay, walang purpose in life. Okay? And so, if they have no purpose or meaning in life, what's life to them? They can take their own and they can take the lives of others.
And Doc, but with regard to
And
this
there
kid,
are these people who take advantage.
yes. And yun nga yung sinasabi yung mga groomers. Hindi ho ba? They groom these vulnerable kids to make them do the worst, di ba? Katulad nga ng killing others and even sarili nila, no? But for example, in this case, if you're saying that wala na siyang purpose or meaning sa buhay, parang ito po, iba siya dun sa Tacloban incident na parang yun, parang mas walang purpose. Ito parang dahil sa pressure sa eskwelahan. Kumbaga, para sa kanya malaking bagay yung grades, for example. At noong, let's say, hindi natin alam yung circumstances, kung school pressure yan at may grievance sa isang teacher, para sa kanya, ang purpose siya ay grades. Parang ganon, may purpose naman siya. Kaso, na-trigger siya na gawin ng ganitong klase ng karumal-dumal na krimen.
Minya, thank you for bringing that up. Now the myth is broken na students, good students, intelligent students cannot do such things. Now we have proven that no matter how good the reputation of the kid is, no matter na consistent honor student siya, vulnerable pa rin sila. Okay, especially to groomers because yun ang trabaho nila eh. This is their expertise. So now we have to be careful and monitor our kids because they can be targets really of these syndicates.
Yes. And from a psychiatric standpoint, Doc, ano ang nagtutulak sa isang minor para magawa ang ganito? Ito ba ay isa lang isolated na violent act or sintomas ang mas malaking, let's say, a mental health crisis among our youth? Doc.
I think if it's NVE, nihilistic violent extremism, I think it's a matter of syndicates taking advantage of the vulnerability of kids. So ito yung trip nila and they they can afford to manipulate, so they do it. Okay?
Opo.
Pero how about now? Is it an isolated event? I think it's a growing community. And yun ang nakakatakot. It's a growing community. And Nina, this is kind of scary. We talk about copycat suicides. Copycat shootings. And from research, we now know that copycat shootings happen the weeks immediately after a fresh event.
So,
And that's the scary thing. So now we have to monitor because things like this might happen even more frequently in the coming weeks.
yes, yes. Actually, yun nga po, kahit na sabihin natin na we hope and pray na wala na sanang ganito at ito na yung last. But unfortunately, no, from what the other countries have also experienced and even us here in the Philippines, after Tacloban, eto na, kailangan talagang maging mapagmatsyag ang ating, ang magulang, ang paaralan, at iba pa, at otoridad, no? Even our mga kapulisan, di ba? Para mas matulungan po kami, no, yung mga ordinaryong tao na hindi naman talaga maalam sa psychiatry or psychology, ano po ba yung mga red flags o pagbabago sa ugali ng isang kabataan na dapat hindi ipagwalang bahala ng pamilya o ng eskwelahan?
Unang-una, kapag may sinabi siyang medyo gaganti siya. Okay? Pagganti. Pangalawa, meron siyang fascination about, guns or violent activities. Pangatlo, merong fascination about previous shootings. And number 4, kung meron siyang galit.
So talagang importante yung open lines of communication, no, sa ating mga anak, which is really very challenging, no, para sa mga magulang. Pero kaya yun nga, bilang panghuling question ko na lang po, papaano ba dapat buksan ng magulang ngayon ang usapin tungkol sa trahedyang ito sa kanilang mga anak? Lalong-lalo na po yung may mga maliliit na anak. At ano ang sasagutin natin kapag nagtanong sila ng, ligtas pa ba ako sa school?
Nina, these are questions even psychologists won't be able to answer now. Okay? Because everything is going so fast and we don't really know what to answer or what to say. Pero something safe, no, is just asking them how they are. You've heard of yung shooting incident. What are your thoughts about it? Ano yung nafe-feel mo? And siguro yung reassurance that the parents will always be there. I think that's the best thing now. And I'd also like to add something about schools. Okay, before we end. I think the schools need to do more than just inspecting bags. I think now they need to, level up, particularly with body scanners, X-ray machines, things like those. Because now, we know that nowhere is safe.
Opo. Yun nga po ang nakakalungkot, at lahat ito ay kailangang pag-usapan kahit mahirap. At maraming salamat sa inyong expertise at marami ho kaming natutunan muli sa inyo. Maraming salamat sa inyong panahon, Dr. Randy De Llosa.